Welcome to Call Me Happy Podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer. I'm your host. Thank you so much for being here. I sure do appreciate your time. If you're just tuning in, and you might be because our podcast numbers have, for some reason, keep doubling, and it's really fun. But this might be your first episode, so welcome. I am an artist, mother, educator, author, and a few other things that you'll learn along the way. But to save time, I will just skip to the good stuff. This community and podcast was grown out of just creating a beautiful place where anyone can shine. Anyone, creatives, mothers, business owners, whatever connection you have to the community. It's a beautiful, uplifting one. Actually, recently, I don't have it up. Recently, someone shared their creation in the community of they had taken our portrait class, and they shared this beautiful painting they made of their son that they had just lost, and that just solidified how safe and beautiful it is, and I can't explain it. It's just a feeling, and that someone felt safe enough that they could share that their most vulnerable selves in the community, and then to see the outpouring support they got when they did. So join. It's a beautiful place, and I'd be happy to have you there, and so would everyone else. It's on Facebook. And it's just called Color Me Happy Community. You can find it in the notes. You can find it on our Instagram, Brandy Hofer Studios. You can find it in our Instagram, Color Me Happy Community, and all the fun stuff that we do there. Thank you for being here. This is a really cool episode, with Michelle Sayers. It was a challenging one for me to digest. I'm not starting this over. I've already started over my audio like 6 times. It was me coming to terms with sharing parts of myself, which over the past few years has been a challenge, and I'm really grateful it happened. Sharing parts of myself, not just in this podcast, but in my new book. I'm really grateful for that whole process, because I could move forward and grow from it. And with this podcast with Michelle, I've always struggled with my skin. And I always hide it, and I always use filters, and I don't love makeup, but I wear it to cover up what's going on. And Michelle and I really get into those things, because after I did share that part of myself on social media this week, this actually inspired me to do that. I cried because it was really hard, and I didn't really want to do it. But my very good friend, she said, it's going to help people. Everyone feels, exposed, and everyone has these struggles, and you can't just be perfect all the time, because it's not real. So I shared a real part of myself, and I have to say, it was really empowering, and it was really important. She was right. She usually is. But yeah, it was really hard. So I did a reading from my book, and that is what my book is all about. It's motivational, and it's not easy. I'm not going to make it seem like it is. I do have parts of the book that will uplift you and inspire you and make you laugh out loud, but there are parts where you will connect with parts of yourself, and it will help you grow, and that's not always easy. I have gotten the most beautiful responses already and feedback from the book, which is really cool. So I didn't do it for nothing. My grandma didn't just read the book. More people read the book than my grandma. So, yay! Anyway, we have a beautiful episode with Michelle, and you'll enjoy it. so much because her story is so interesting. She's the founder and CEO of Beauty from Bees, and she has inspired me to do a tiny overhaul of products or just read labels and realize what you're putting on in and around your body, and she talks about that. She's like, it can be overwhelming and it can be like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. But she's like, you just do it a little bit at a time. And I started using her stuff after I spoke to her too. I had her on because she's local and she's amazing. And I have friends who work with her, and they always tell me the greatest things about Michelle, and I'm like, I have to talk to her. I have to be her friend too. And so I had so many questions about her business, and then I looked into her products, and her products, her like slogan is nothing hidden, nothing harmful. And I love that because her products aren't confusing for me as a consumer, and I know what's in it. And then my beautiful friend Jolene actually gave me after I said that I was having her on and that I wanted to get some of her products. She gave me this beautiful gift set because they have all the products locally at Home Hardware, and yeah, Jolene's super sweet, and we had like a spin, and we did this like spin day together, a date and brunch at Oasis Hot Yoga and Spin Studio. They're doing these like really great days, and they're filled with women, and I always forget to share and take pictures because I'm having such a good time, and I'm like, I want to share how great this is so other people can do it too, but then I forget. And actually my sister's the owner, and she's like, I'm so glad you forgot because I want you to be lost in this day and this moment because it's a treat. It's a treat for busy people and busy mothers and busy parents, and I'm so happy you keep forgetting to share. So yeah, I'll let you get into this episode, and thank you again for being here. No, hi Michelle. Okay, welcome. Hi. Michelle, to our podcast. It's been a day. It took us almost 45 minutes to get started.
Yes. Wow. Let's make this real short and sweet. Nice to meet you. Have a good day.
Yeah. No, I don't want to make it short and sweet because I'm so curious about all that you do. So I was like, oh no.
Oh.
And I'm so happy and grateful to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've had a day, like, so this, like I said, I was like, I should have just canceled everything. I screwed up my Jens this morning on my earlier podcast, and wrong Jen. I was like, oh, hey, Jen. She's like, what are you talking about? We don't have a podcast today. I was like, what Jen is this? And then there's a lot of Jens. I am friends with lots of Jennies. And then I went to my appointment that I like, and I'm sure you understand, I can relate because you have so many kids too, and you have to like arrange your day with your partner, and I like arranged the day, and I like pushed his stuff out of the way and his work and did my things and showed up to this appointment. They're like, it's not till next Friday. I was like, of course it is. Of course.
Yeah. Why would it be?
Yeah.
Any other day other than the wrong day.
I did my hair and makeup and put on pants to come here.
What a waste of time. Yeah. You're like, please just fit me in. Anyways, feel sorry for me.
They weren't even there.
Oh,
wasn't even there.
That's even worse.
It was like a surgical. So it was like, I've been waiting 6 months, but I'm like, at least I didn't miss it. At least like, I know it's next week for sure.
That's true.
Yeah. After the birth of my third, my abs separated, and now I have a umbilical hernia. I was like, fucking kids.
Dang it. They just destroy us in every way possible. Hey, they're like, oh, I'm gonna wreck your whole body.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah. Draining.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you have three?
I have 3 boys. Do you have 4?
Yeah.
4. Oh.
Yeah. 3 boys and 1 girl. Yes.
Did you do the thing where you had 3 and you went to get a girl? Like you pushed to get it, or?
No, it was boy, boy, girl, boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had her in the middle, and then I was hoping for another girl to give her a sister. And she still gives me a hard time about it. She's like, I wanted a sister. I'm like, but I gave you him and that's all you get. So too bad. Plus
Someone
she's,
to play with and take
yeah,
care of.
and she's so bossy anyways. I'm like, oh, Park, could you imagine, honestly, like bossing a little girl around like you bossed him around? No, it would never work. She's so much girl that we couldn't have handled another one. So it worked out the way it worked out.
She's enough girl for the whole family.
For the whole family. She is my daughter. Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So on that subject, so Michelle, you are the founder of so huge, right? Beauty from Bees. And the reason you got into it was, and I'll let you tell the story because like my version is the very shortened read about you online version. And so you wanted, your whole plan was essentially you wanted to make products. There wasn't any, you couldn't find any like safe products for your family, right?
Yeah. I was pregnant with my first, who's now 13. And like just different ingredients like sodium lauryl sulfate, which is like a really toxic soap base. Information was just starting to surface about all these ingredients. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to use? What am I going to do? And honestly, like the whole business definitely just stemmed from there. I was like, well, surely I can just make my own things. And they really like weren't as good as what they are today, but it was the start of Beauty from Bees for sure. Yeah.
So were you making them like in your kitchen to begin?
Yeah. Yeah. I would just whip stuff up and like whatever I needed. Or like if a friend needed something, I was like, oh, I think I can probably make that. And yeah. So it was just like started as baby products and then obviously like grew over time because now we have like 80 different items. So it gets hard though, because I can make a lot of things. So I really have to learn to like back off and be like, hey, no more creativity, like stop it, just sell what we have. But it's hard, like my brain just doesn't stop.
You're a
So
doer.
I'm
You
a bit of, yeah, I'm a bit of a
yeah,
doer.
you, and that's pretty cool because if that hasn't gone away, like the creativity behind the product, like that's amazing that you still want to make products. Like,
Yeah. Or someone will be like, yeah, like one of the girls at the shop will be like, oh, I love using this. Do you think you could make a better version? I'm like, well, of course I could. And so it's like things
yeah,
just kind of go from there, you know, it's hard, but it's fun. I do enjoy it.
yeah. So yeah, my 3-year-old keeps trying to come sit with me. He's like,
Aw.
I'm like, he's at the stage where it's like only me, like sleeping with, hanging out with, sitting
Mhm.
with to eat. Like there's
Is that
not,
your baby? That's your
yeah,
youngest?
last one, last
Yeah.
third Teddy.
Yeah.
He is so sweet, but like, wow.
I know. But don't you find you like baby him the most? Like my youngest, my little guy, he's like, all my kids are like, stop babying him. And like, you baby him so much. Even my husband, I'm like, you guys, he's only 6. Like, calm down. Plus, he's my last one. So,
Yeah, when you know
whatever.
you're the last.
Yeah.
He's like, my other kids are only 5 and 8, so no one knows like how he's being
Right. How
treated
spoiled he maybe is.
exceptionally well compared to the others because he is still kind of a baby, right?
Yeah.
So he definitely gets the most energy out of anyone.
Right.
Um, yeah. So okay, you started, but I'm genuinely really geeky curious about your process because I also am one of those people. I'm more when it comes to food, like what you're putting in, on, or around your body. Like
Mhm.
I probably talk about it to the point, well, I do, I know that like I've alienated others in my life. So I love what you do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm like, did you know that? And they're
Yeah.
like, I don't care.
Right. You're like, but
But
you should.
you should care. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I have cleaners and they probably hate me because I'm like, it's vinegar only.
Yeah, totally. Don't use anything else. And they're like, but we can't clean your house as good without it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care. I know.
I think I saw a
Honestly, like,
comment.
yeah, there are definitely people, like, if you get me on the path of talking about, like things that are good for you, things that aren't good for you, I mean, I can go on a tangent. But for sure, I've learned to like kind of calm down because not the people don't care as much as I do. And then when you do find somebody that does care, you're like, yes, like, you feel so connected and you're so into it. But yeah, it's crazy how much people let slide. But then I noticed this last dry shampoo recall. Did you see that? Where a bunch of
No.
brands, there was like millions of bottles of dry shampoo, aerosol bottles, they were all recalled and people went crazy and like throwing them out. And I'm like, you guys, just because Health Canada comes out and says something's recalled, like but they have to hear those words in order for it to like resonate and really actually sit with them that, oh my goodness, this stuff is toxic.
Mm-hmm. Which
There are so
makes
many items that should
sense.
be recalled. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you guys make a dry shampoo?
Yeah, we do.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I actually,
Mm.
because I'm just like, this isn't, anyway, I won't tell you about my personal regime, but I made my own out of like coffee grounds and cornstarch.
Oh yeah.
Now I can't have corn anything though.
Okay.
So now I'm like, oh, I would use maybe tapioca starch, but maybe I'll just buy yours.
Right. You should try it and then you'll see, like, I love it and
I
I
have
use
dark
it almost
hair.
every
So
day.
like when they're a lighter, that's wwhy I added coffee grounds to make it darker and it kind of smells good, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Um, and um, so like I would have gone just cornstarch, but it was like so white on my brown roots. So it looked like I was like graying out.
I know. Yes, I think yeah, it's the application, but have you ever tried to like comb it but also take a blow dryer and blow out?
Oh,
It's
no, I'm super
works really
lazy.
good. Yeah. So if you can try that, that might really help. But I do find that it still works really good on dark hair or light hair. So
Oh, does
I'll let
it?
you,
I'll
I'll let you
try it
test
out.
it. Yeah,
I'll
for
get some.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just like, again, people just need to be more conscious. Like, just think, like, go about your day and think about what, like, look at the shit you're putting on your body. Just go
Mhm.
or around it or inhaling or like anything like
Mhm.
dishwasher detergent goes on your dishes in the dishwasher and then you eat off them and like it's well maybe don't get too deep because I work with a naturopath and she's like don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, you can't. Or don't
Yeah,
let it stress you out. Like if you want to
yeah,
think about it, but just don't let it stress you out because there comes a time where you do have to just like accept that we live in an environment that is full of toxins. We literally have them surrounding us. There are chemicals in our foods, there's chemicals in all of our bath products. Like, but
yeah.
you do have to, stress is one of the worst things that you can do as well that can cause like so much harm to your body. So you really do have to hit a level of like, okay, I want to learn more, I want to be more cautious, I want to swap out some things, but at the same time, like I also want to accept that, I didn't know, and what you didn't know you can't change, and you just kind of have to move on and baby steps. It's not going to happen overnight. No one's going to go and like I mean, if you can, great. But if you can't throw out everything in your house and spend, $2,000 to just like swap everything, then
Mm-hmm.
don't. Just one
Mm-hmm.
product at a time, one food at a time, just be cautious of certain decisions. Some
Mm-hmm.
days my kids are like, I want to go to McDonald's and I take them,
Oh
like
yeah, for sure.
it's like
Well, we
there
choose
just comes a
AW.
time.
We choose
Yeah.
AW.
You try to make better choices. Exactly. There you go.
It
That's like
is
a
fast
better
food, but
choice.
it's like, yeah, a better
Yeah.
choice. Like if you're gonna do it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, like it can be extremely overwhelming, and you're right, it can be also expensive, right? And we're not all in the position of swapping out, but it can slowly happen over time, and your body's pretty amazing.
Hmm.
The thing is,
Definitely.
but it's also really for women it's especially important because well actually men too, but like a lot of the things that happen cause like hormone imbalances, so stuff that
Hmm.
can be happening with your period or your body can be like it's extra estrogen production or something. There's way more technical, like I'm reading this really interesting book because again, I'm a nerd about it. But so like things you're consuming and things that you're using on your body or eating out of can cause like extreme hormonal imbalances, and like we deal with enough already. So
totally.
and mood too, so that
Mhm.
affects your mood before your cycle and stuff like that. That book is called, so people know where to get the actual information.
Yeah.
So just not making stuff up. It's called Fix Your Period. And it's so good. It's by Nicole Jardim, Jardim. But she talks about everything food products, and especially cleaning stuff that mimics those things. But your body's so resilient because your intestine and your liver like literally can repair themselves. Like your intestine has like a 7-day cycle where it repairs itself. Which is
but you
amazing.
have to give your body a break. Like you do have to do things that contribute. Like your liver does take on all the chemicals and everything that flows through your body. Your liver is going to absorb and block and protect, but you also have to give your liver a cleanse every once in a while, right? So you can't just assume that for a lifetime your body is just going to do its thing. Like we do have to give it breaks. That's why fruits and veggies, always incorporating like certain things into your diet to help balance is really important, but not overloading your system. I mean, like I bought a bag of garbage bags at Walmart, and I bought some for the shop and I bought some for my house, and I pulled one out and I'm like, whoa, like what friggin' gross, like fragrance. And I'm like, ew. And it was like this little tiny writing at the top of the box that said scent, whatever. And I was so grossed out because that kind of stuff is like extremely harmful for your lungs, for your liver. Like it really does take its toll on your body. Fragrance actually grosses me out, probably like it's one of the most toxic things that just really gets me. And ew. So it's everywhere, and we do just have to be kind of mindful. But if you don't know, you don't know. So it's like only learn what you want to learn, because once you do, you're not going back.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
And you alienate the people you love.
Yes. Because you go over to your mom's house and she's busting out fragrance all over, and you're like, whoa, gross. Stop it.
Yeah. Scented candles galore and stuff for sure. I like my dad, he probably is just like, I'm like, what oil are you using to cook with? That falls under the hateful eight category.
That can't be heated over 325 degrees.
Olive oil only,
right?
And he's so a chef, so he's like, the cooking temperature is not, and I was like, I don't care, you have diabetes and you're gonna die, please switch oil.
We can't be too crazy. We have to like just, and there are some people that are not going to change no matter what. Balance. But some people are like,
so good. I get it.
My husband thinks milk is so good for him. He's like, I can drink as much milk as I want, and so can the kids. I'm like, oh no, like it drives me nuts. And he's like, it's fine. But then
my husband read me a fact, like a tweet or something. How much sugar people consume yearly in milk, and it's like a gross amount of sugar, like pounds and pounds of sugar they're ingesting with just milk. We're gonna insult so many people right now.
I know. Sorry to all you cheese lovers. I eat cheese sometimes. I do. I love it too. But I just try not to eat it too much because I used to suffer really bad from eating gluten for like years. I couldn't have it at all. It made me so sick, and I've got like raging migraines all the time. And I followed this like protocol of cleansing your liver. And so it was 28 days of raw fruits and veggies only. And I'm telling you, it like changed my life. And then I took like a really strict set of vitamins, like herbs, and I stuck to those for like a year. And honestly, like nothing even bothers me anymore.
Oh, you repaired it all.
I totally have like healed my body, and it's crazy. Yeah. So I still try not to eat like a ton of it, but I do
But you
Now,
won't get a face rash.
I don't get a face rash. I don't get tummy aches. I don't get headaches. And I feel fantastic. This is like the best I've ever felt. But it was like a big process. I was on like
Oh, of course.
thyroid medication for like 20 years and I got off of all of it. So it is crazy, like the things you can do to really help and heal. But like, I swear there's so much power in fruits and veggies. It's hard. That was like the hardest. I don't even know how I did it. If someone was like, oh, you have to go 30 days, only raw fruits and veggies. I'm like, yeah, right. Never.
Well,
So
I've been, on an elimination and all those things for such a long time now. So I am down to basically plus meat though, like,
right.
so,
I did no meat, no salt. It was literally raw fruits and veggies. You couldn't have anything
that
else.
would be, I always feel better when I juice like celery and beets and stuff. And so I like incorporate that. Okay. We're going to lose so many people on the topic of food. They're going to be like, where'd they go with this? So I want to come back to you. And okay, so your original plan was to sell your products. You started staying at home, right? So you,
I was always a stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom. And so you decided to get into making stuff, and your plan was just to like make a little extra at farmers markets?
Like, not even. It was honestly just, I was just making products for my family. Like, I would just make things here and there. And then, I was just like, okay, maybe I could sell it. This was like 10 years later, right? So I was like, maybe I could sell some things, or maybe like however long it was. I don't even remember. But, and so I would just go to local farmers markets, and I started selling out of products, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then one thing just led to another. And now we're shipping products across Canada, US. We've sent Germany, Australia, worldwide. We have stores all over that carry the products. I've met some really cool people, had some really neat influencers, shout out our products. Yeah, it's crazy how it happened. I have no idea, but it's pretty exciting.
So I'm genuinely curious how you went from the step of making it into your kitchen to like a full-on product assembly. Because that doesn't just happen like overnight. You have to source bottles and find out like a shipping. Can you talk a little bit about that whole transition? Like when you're like, wow, we can go for it kind of, and you bought, because I assume you have some sort of facilities, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't happen overnight, and it's crazy because it's like steps I forget about how much work I put into it, and like all the everything that you had to go through, because like I built it from the ground up. So it was, making labels, and now we get them all commercially printed, but designing them, making them, coming up with the website, the name, you name it, we had to do that. I would just do everything. I would make the products, I would bottle them, I would label them, I would sell them, I'd haul my kids to farmers markets. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready for one employee. And so I'd hire someone, and then, they would help. Then it's like, okay, I think we're ready for another employee. I think we're ready to try to find a different shipping system because what we're working isn't efficient enough. And like, it's just like baby steps, and you just kind of have to take it one stride at a time. But like, I had a business coach in the beginning too, because I was like, I want to learn from people who have been there, done that, made mistakes, and grew successful companies that can help guide me. So I'm like always reaching out to people too that are like bigger, better, smarter, that can help kind of give guidance, because that's how you learn, right? And then of course you just learn the hard way through a lot of things too. But yeah, I think there's like 9 or 10 of us now, and we have a facility, we have a system. I could not do what I do without everybody that's with me now. We have a really good group. It's super fun. And but it's like our 4th year in business. So it took time, and you just constantly have to be willing to give it 100% just to see that growth. but anything you put your mind to, you can do. That's the crazy part. I don't think I really ever like thought that myself. Like sometimes my kids, I'm like, no, anything that you want to do, like you can do. And I'm like, wow, because you can. Like I'm proof that if you put your
you're
mind to it
showing
and you
them.
put the hard work in, yeah, you can do it. My husband owns his own business too. So I'm like, our kids are either going to be like, I am never owning my own business. Mom and dad are crazy. Or they're all going to be totally entrepreneurs and into it. So I don't know what way it's going to go. You can't tell, but it's definitely like a grind. And there were moments I'm like, oh, I think I should just quit. I think I should give up. I don't think I can do this. And then the next day I'd wake up and be like, ready for more.
Yeah.
So
I was just tired.
Highs and lows. Yeah, just joking.
I was just really tired.
Yeah, it does happen. You just hit walls where you're like, I am friggin' exhausted. Like, I can't do this. And then when you're trying to raise kids, like I have 4 kids, they all play hockey. Like we live on an acreage, so we have like yard work. And like I said, my husband owns his own business. So it's not like he's always around and available. Like I'm the mom, and majority of the time, the kids are my responsibility. When I want to go to work, I have to bring the kids with me if they're not in school. They're all in school just this year, full time. So I'm like, wow, that's like a new level of freedom too. But they always came with me. I've never had, they've never been to daycare, or I've never had like a nanny or anything. I've always done it with the kids. But now we set up our schedules so that we only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know it sounds crazy, but we only work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 3. And so we only work around school time, and we have Mondays and Fridays off. So I'm able to get my kids to everything that they need because I made sure that I wasn't taking away from them in building this business.
Mm-hmm. And you worked hard and built it that way so you could have freedom.
Exactly. And I want my employees to have freedom because they're all female moms too. And like, we live in a town of 600 people. So like Marwayne is so small, and I didn't want everybody to have to drive to Lloyd or to commute far. And I want moms to be able to get out and do something if they want to. So it's like a nice place for, women to also just come, and we get to hang out and we laugh all day while we're working. And it's just a super fun. It ended up being everything. Like I just can't even imagine it turning out any better than it has. It's pretty good gig. Yeah.
So yeah, I love your growth and I love hearing about it. And I love how you didn't exactly expect, but I'm sure didn't put a bar on like growing or figuring out how to scale and grow from people who have already done it. So you grew in 4 years, 2,400%, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And what like where did you see that transition happening, or was it just like 4 years is not that gradual. That's really quick.
Yeah.
Was it when you started working with which one of the Angela Price?
Yeah,
Angela Price. The people you teamed up with, did that help with some of the growth too? Was teaming up with was it all women?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, of course, it's great publicity, right? Like, Angela has also grown a lot over the years too. Mm-hmm. So we started working with her a couple of years ago, and she wasn't like her level of influencing has also gotten bigger as time has gone on, but definitely she has brought people our way, and she loves the products, and but there's just so many other aspects of what we've done that have created so much growth. Like I said, we live in a town of 600 people. I knew that the business was not going to be something that could sustain itself if I'm depending on just my community to purchase the products. So I set it up to be an online business, knowing that the foot traffic just wasn't there. So I was like, hey, how can I get my products across Canada, across the US, worldwide? Like, what do I have to do to make that happen? Mm-hmm. So I really had to like find ways to get an online business going without turning to things like Amazon. I was trying to really not we want to support other local businesses. Like we don't want to just be, online is kind of fussy. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I just want to try a product. If I don't like it, just return it. I'm like, yeah, Amazon started that trend and like, it's great, but it's really hard on small businesses for things like that. And they're like, why is your shipping free over 125? Why isn't it free over 35? And I'm like, because we're not Amazon. Like, that's just the way it goes. So we had to set up the business like very strategically to make sure that we were profitable, that we were able to do everything that we wanted to do, bring raw materials into our small community, because shipping is more expensive. Like we're not a city center. So there were so many little factors, but yeah, you really kind of have to hash through a lot of things to get the business to where you want it to be.
Yeah. And I think the trade-off is for, people who are like, the convenience of, when you mentioned shipping or time or not being on Amazon, the trade-off is taking care of your body and knowing exactly what you're putting in it. That's the trade-off, which is a really great trade-off.
And like, there are lots of businesses out there too. This is like one of those things, somebody described it to me too. He was like, you're almost selling a product. You're up against companies that, they look like they make the products, but they actually don't. So it's like what other companies don't want you to know is I could be just hiring a company and getting them to formulate, but I don't want that because I know what's good and I know what's bad. Like I can pick up any label and read it and be like, oh, where other people don't know. They're like, I'm not sure what any of this even means. Right. So I wanted to be able to choose every single ingredient that was going into the bottles. I wanted to pick them all. I want to work with them. And that was a big deal to me. So yeah, some companies may claim to be natural or they may claim to be whatever, but I don't even know if majority of them are actually physically making the products themselves, or they might make a couple, but then they're also hiring out a bunch of it. So it's like hard to, you want to make sure that you're getting something. And with us and with my brand, and I think people have really recognized that what they get is really legitimately like what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I do like, I understand that. Our friend actually, he creates products for brands and influencers. So like they bottle and create products. And then my sister-in-law works, she's a product. I wish I could think of her official title. Wildcraft. Do you know Wildcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has been with them from the beginning. And so I have heard about like, how they create things in shop. And it's such an interesting process. And I love like learning about creating marketing material and why you chose this. And it's all things that you have to think about all the time. Like, and that's the things you had to establish. And like you said, now you have to almost hold back from, and because you want to be smart, right?
Yeah. Well, there's just only so much you can do too. It's like, but I'm on the right path and I know that. I'm like, what I'm doing is, really good for the environment. It's really good. Like it makes me feel good every single day when I'm like, oh, and the emails and reviews and stuff that we get, or if we helped a baby who had severe allergies, couldn't have any bubble baths, and now suddenly they can, and like the moms, they're so happy. And, it's like all these little things. It's not just, it is a job and it is something that obviously I'm making income from, but it's so, fulfilling. And it's like, I love it. It's my passion. So it's such a win-win, honestly. Like it's so feel good in all the ways.
Your why is really strong from the very beginning.
Totally. Yeah, 100%. And that is something that I will never deviate from. That is my path and it is what I'm totally committed to. I will not ever swap in an ingredient because it's super cheap, even if it's just like 1%. It's just not. It's never happening. So that's where I kind of like really hold strong, which is nice. And that's what makes me feel good. And I know I'm bringing really good products to the world and people are loving them. And yeah, it makes me feel good. I'm super happy.
Yeah. And I love it. Nothing hidden, nothing harmful. And you
Yeah.
stand by it.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. We're running out of time because I don't have a Zoom account.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's okay.
Um, but that's okay. We can wrap up unless there was something else that you wanted to touch on.
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, I didn't have a
Okay.
plan. I just come into these things, just
Okay.
wing it. I just wing it.
Yeah, you did so great. I might get cut off, but
Okay.
I'll put in like the outro, how everyone can find you and where and
Okay.
all that. And it was super nice to meet
Awesome.
you.
Yeah,
I
you
hope we get to
too.
meet again.
Yeah,
So
we will for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Fran, for listening. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful episode, and I hope you took something away from it that can help you and aid in your well-being. And actually, in the newsletter this week, and you're welcome to sign up for our newsletter. We do just one email a week on Sunday mornings. And then if I have something to say, sometimes I do it on Wednesday too, but nothing crazy. But we have weekend inspiration, and it'll hit your inbox, and it has beautiful things and beautiful stories. This weekend, it's Fuck It, Nothing to Hide. And then we talk with Michelle. Of course, we feature her in the newsletter. And what we have to say about it is in our newsletter, so you can sign up at brandyhofer.ca. This theme is, if you take care of yourself first, everything else will just fall into place. And I just truly believe that. So yeah, sign up. It's really special. And great news. If you're still sitting on the edge and not getting our book, you should get it, because you still have time. Either gift it to yourself for Christmas. It's nothing crazy. It's $20. It's $19.98 on Amazon, and it comes with an audiobook download, which I narrated. It took a long effing time, so I'd love it if you did it. Because you know how much I fuck up. So imagine me for 8 hours trying to do a book without breathing wrong. It was something else, let me tell you. But it was really important that I did it, because my book was so in my voice, and it was it's purely creative. I self-published, so I controlled every aspect of editing, hiring an editor, going through it with her, hiring a formatter. The designs were by a 13-year-old illustrator, Leah, and like every part of it is part of my heart in pieces, just giving it out to the world. I did the cover and picked all the colors and thought of the photography. We had a photographer, my wonderful friend Taylor, shot us all in the studio one day. Like, that was actually the first thing, one of the first things we did. I was like, I know what the cover is I know what I want it to be. So it's funny that the cover came before the book. So the link to get that is in the notes too, and be sure to join our community, join the newsletter. We love having you here. It's so special. And so for this week, we couldn't do it without our sponsors. Our sponsors are Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center, Red Bicycle Communications, and I'm struggling, guys. My kids are all sick, and so am I. Clearly. Oasis Hot Yoga and Spin Studio, all women-run businesses, really beautiful and special. Oh, I think I heard my kids coming home. Amazing. They clearly are tired, and they couldn't stay with their grandpa. Okay, we have the Myth and Facts by Nouveau, and it fits in well this week with what we talked about in the podcast. And so here's the myth. Cleansing should make your skin feel squeaky clean. And I know that because I have oily skin, especially when my cycle is about to arrive. So fact, cleansing should be gentle, which is so hard. Cleansing, okay, but listen to her fact, right, Brandy? Cleansing should be gentle. Extended rubbing or manually exfoliating can strip your skin of its natural oils and damage the skin barrier. Remember, we are cleansing, not cleaning. Okay, that's great advice. Yeah. Don't wreck your face. Be gentle. Be kind to yourself, which we always have to learn. Okay, thank you for being here. Again, you can join our Color Me Happy community. It's free and beautiful and special. You can sign up for our weekend inspiration on our newsletter, and be sure to order that book before Christmas and stuff it in a stocking or holidays. Or if you don't celebrate, just get it and you'll love it, because it's a beautiful journey of self-care and motivation. Okay. Have a wonderful Sunday. If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release, and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it.